This is a Ben Frank Connection presentation. This is a Ben Frank Connection presentation.
What is going on, everybody? We are back for another episode of the Anthony Blackwell, the ABJ podcast. The ABJ presents Tornado Tag. Now that this is audio, I started a little early. I know we said 8:45, but I was going to do the stream start music that plays for like 2 or 3 minutes and give everybody time to join in. And then I realized that I take this audio and I put it up, and that's more editing. And I was like, oops. That's not the intro I want to play, so I went right for the music.
Live to tape, as we say. Live to tape.
Yeah. So if you guys are listening to this on Spotify, please do us a favor. Hit that 5-star review, as well as leave a comment if you're listening or your platform allows you to do so. Share this podcast out. Tag us if you listen to this podcast and share it, and just tell us what you thought, or maybe some of your takes. If you're listening to this in your car, know that we did this absolutely live for free on YouTube. If you are on the YouTube side of things, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, as well as subscribe if you haven't done so already. We are getting very close to monetization, so there's going to be some cool things coming up when that gets done. If you want to support the podcast or myself or BP, all links are below. We do got some merchandise for sale on the Teespring side of things. We have the modern day Rumble logo. We got the classic Rumble logo. And then if you want to get ready for WrestleMania, we got that classic logo right there too. I love the way that came out. I'm working on the Philly one again. I'm personally making it. It's not going great, but we're getting there. All right. It'll happen. We'll get it there. Also, if you're listening to the podcast side of things, make sure you go check out episode 100. Just dropped today. Lindsay Dorado is on the interview. A huge one for us there. So that's really exciting. And then on Monday, we're going to have a former TNA heavyweight champion on 5 Questions with ABJ. Rich Swann going to be joining us. That's pretty exciting. So that essentially takes care of the housekeeping side of things. BP, do you have anything you plug before we jump in?
Quick question.
Yeah.
This Philadelphia logo you're making is going to start off really, really good and then fall apart after that.
I'm happy you made that joke and not me.
Hey, no. Nobody hates Eagles more than Eagles fans right now.
Yeah. Listen, I'm a Washington fan. I know how it feels.
The usual. I've been doing a lot with PPW. They're going to be doing some stuff coming up here. I really have been making an effort for their socials. PPW Entertainment on Facebook, on Twitter, on why couldn't I think of Instagram, and keep an eye on their YouTube page. There might be some interesting things headed to PPW's YouTube page.
Fun.
But yeah. Other than that, so what do you want to talk about?
Well, we have a lot to talk about. We haven't been here in 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Which is fine because there's been about 3 years worth of news in the last 3 days. So
it's been
a good time to come back. But we got to start with the biggest news of it all. The biggest news by far right now is Tornado Tag is moving this Sunday. It's what everybody in wrestling is talking about.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
The big breaking news is Tornado Tag will be officially moving to Sunday nights, not this Sunday, following Sunday. We're going to be, so this way we have some time to take in all of this week of wrestling, watch some cool stuff, talk about the big news and stuff like that. Also, before we get into any news, I kind of want to recap with you the reason you missed the past 2 weeks. You had 1 week where you were at Fightertainment.
Yes.
And then you hosted Rumble Trivia at the same bar. So you've been like not only killing at PPW, but like you've been living in Pilgrim, which I'm jealous because I haven't been there in so long.
And we're going to be running that back a little bit. I hope I'm coming through okay. It looks like the chat's saying I
hear you fine.
So if I'm good on the recording, then hey, podcast people.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna be running back the or WrestleMania trivia. It's not gonna be Mania weekend because so many people are gonna be down in Philly, and it's a little bit of a hike back and forth. So I believe it's gonna be March 28th. We're gonna be running back Rumble trivia on a Thursday, or not? I keep saying Rumble trivia, WrestleMania trivia, and it's gonna be a cool gimmick. We're gonna have one question for each of the 39 WrestleManias that there have been so far.
Interesting.
So it's going to be the full gamut of WrestleMania knowledge.
Who did I have on the podcast? And we were talking about WrestleMania, and they said I think I got WrestleMania. I think it was Max Zero said about, can you name one other match on this WrestleMania? And I was like, if BP was here, he could tell you the whole fucking card. He's like, the card had 15 matches. I think it was WrestleMania 4 or 5.
Oh, the tournament. Yeah. I could probably name every match. If I had enough time, I could probably name every match.
Give us a quick rundown of how Fightertainment went in trivia.
Fightertainment was a fun time. It was based around the Triangle tournament, which was it was a trios tournament, but to tag in and out, because it's not wrestling, it's Fightertainment, you had to ring a little triangle. And that's how you got in. And a few different teams wound up in there. And the main event was riddled with injuries. Everybody got hurt during the main event and had to sub out with another participant. So I believe the team from Buffalo, which was led by Puff, actually won the fight, but they had all subbed in for the Lost Boys, who wound up actually winning the match because they were their surrogates. So our buddy Junie Underwood, Eighth and Promise, and Miles Penn. I believe wound up winning the whole thing. Big Pilgrim title match between Rocket and Jason Furious. That was fun. One of the big viral things that was going around was the Spanish fly off the one-man Spanish fly off the bar table through a door. That was a big moment. Jimmy Lloyd and
one-man Spanish fly.
Yeah, well, usually it's two guys. Like the one everybody calls a Spanish fly is a one-man Spanish fly.
So who Spanish flied who through the table?
Fury Spanish flied Rocket and kept the Pilgrim Championship.
Oh my goodness! Yikes!
Yeah, fun times.
Yeah. One other bit of an announcement too. After doing some thought when it comes to the ABJ podcast, I'm still doing interviews, right? But I'm gonna be doing some solo shows too. I don't want every episode of the Tornado of ABJ podcast to just be based on the interviews. I want to try some other things out. I'm not exactly sure how it's gonna go, but I'm also gonna start bringing in the Not Cool in High School as well as Banging Beers and stuff like that. And some of those I will be doing solos. Some I'll have a guest, but I really want to start pushing myself to be more of a solo content creator and getting that ready. So now that we are officially moving this off Thursdays and moving to Sundays, Thursdays are going to open up very soon as ABJ podcast days, or ABJ podcast presents days, where you're going to see some stuff, and hopefully it will be live soon. And to get it live sooner, because I have a lot of pre-recorded interviews, interview drop this Thursday. We're going to drop another interview on Tuesday, and then another interview on Thursday. We're going to do Tuesdays and Thursdays until we get caught up with interviews, maybe even throw in a Saturday interview. So if you enjoy listening to the audio side of podcasts and the interviews, be prepared to get overloaded for the month of February. We're going to hit you with a bunch of really good interviews. And I'm telling you right now, some of these interviews in February are sick.
So wait, are you encouraging people to binge watch?
Yes.
Are you going to do a little thing after every couple of episodes? Are you still listening?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown. I'll give you the inside scoop. I already announced today, Rob Radke will be the next guest. Joel Ruda next after that. Sam Evans. Yes, the good Ruda. Not that I walked backstage. I walked backstage.
Jared Ruda.
And Jared was in the ring doing a promo, and everybody was watching on the screen. And I go, "Holy Hannah!" And I pulled a Killian line. And I go, "Joel Ruda looks like hell," and everyone started losing it. Sam Evans Art, who's an artist from Australia who does really, really cool paintings. He's very, very talented. After that will be Merrick Miami. Then it'll be Eighth and Promise of the Lost Boys, Jorge Guapo, followed by everyone's best teacher, Mr. James, Sonny Defarge, Miles Penn from the Lost Boys.
Yeah, we talked about him. Yeah.
Handsome Mac Zero, And episode 111 that I just recorded the other day that I'm really excited for everyone to hear, Frightmare.
Oh yeah, Frightmare.
Frightmare. I listen, I got an in with Frightmare, right? And then hopefully that leads to Hollow Wicked.
Wait,
And then
do you mean Frightmare doesn't just speak incoherently?
No, he talks normal, which is really good.
Delirious is the one that still has some language processing.
Yeah, Delirious has some issues, but
Yeah.
you know, Frightmare leads to Hollow Wicked. Hollow Wicked then hopefully leads to Ultramantis.
Oh, yeah,
I don't think it's gonna happen. Yes, I don't think it's ever gonna happen, but a man can dream, right? But Frightmare was really, really cool. Learned so much about him. He started wrestling at 14 years old.
Yeah, that's there's a few that are like that. I know somebody that's making waves in the scene ever since coming back from NXT, Notorious Mimi. I know she started training at 14.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's some people started very young.
Yeah, so a lot of cool interviews coming, and then more ABJ will be coming behind that, and then we'll be bringing in the Not Cool in High School Horror, Banging Beers. So probably within the next couple of days, you're going to see a post going up about who's interested in being on the podcast. I did reach out to a few more people for interviews, which I'm really excited for. But if you think there's someone like ABJ, you have to have them on. I want to hear you guys chop it up. Send me the names, tag them in posts, and let's make it happen.
McMahon. I would love to hear you interview Vince McMahon.
Well, maybe me. Well, you want to start with Vince, or do you want to start with the other
on
stuff
the
first?
advice of my counsel, I don't think he's going to answer that.
Yeah.
It's the big news today, so why don't we just jump in there?
Yeah.
Because it's not.
It's good shit.
Please.
Would you stop it?
Will you be serious? So, unless you've been living under a rock today, I'm going to take it right from Deadline, who this was all part of a Wall Street Journal article, which is spinning off of a court filing that happened, I believe, in Connecticut. The U.S. District Court, United States District Court for the District of Connecticut. And if you remember back when Vince stepped away for the first time in 2022, there were talks of allegations of sexual harassment. I believe it was even back then, the Wall Street Journal that was breaking the story, and that hush money was being paid to a lot of women who were accusing Vince McMahon of sexual misconduct. And now one of those women is coming forward in a new filing, Janelle Grant, who was one of the ones that was allegedly paid all of this hush money. And Janelle Grant has made some very, I would say they are outlandish and wild and unbelievable, not unbelievable, but like mind-boggling allegations. But it's Vince McMahon. You can literally believe almost anything about the guy, just because if you follow wrestling close enough, you know how crazy he seems to be.
I said a while ago, I said before this came out and all the rumbles were coming up, I said I still think this is the top of the surface. I think there's so much more to come from this, and I think it's only going to get worse if more and more people tell their story. But I think it'll be one of those situations too where I don't think we'll hear the worst of the Vince story until he's gone. I think when he's gone, and he's no longer a possible threat at all, I think that's when more stuff comes out. And I think it's going to be worse than the Hugh Hefner stuff. And the Hugh Hefner stuff is bad. So
yeah, even the very beginning of this complaint that was filed, the in the first paragraph, the plaintiff even says that they are filing this lawsuit not to just address their own suffering, but to also act for those who are afraid to speak out, which would suggest that not only could there possibly be other victims, but that the plaintiff here, Janelle Grant, may have firsthand knowledge of who some of these other victims are and their stories. But again, we don't know anything.
All alleged and all.
Yeah, let's jump in the front of that and also provide Vince McMahon's response, or Vince McMahon's legal team's response, which is this lawsuit is replete with lies, obscene, made-up instances that never occurred, and a vindictive distortion of the truth. And Vince's legal team said he will vigorously defend himself. And then TKO Holdings, the now parent company of WWE, said Mr. McMahon does not control TKO, nor does he oversee the day-to-day operations of WWE.
To just double it down, he's no longer here.
He is the chairman of the board. Well, this matter predates for now. While this matter predates our TKO executive team's tenure at the company, we take Ms. Grant's horrific allegations very seriously and are addressing this matter internally.
And
So that was the official statement. Now, I don't know how deep we want to go on the actual allegations because they are.
It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. Yeah. And there's a lot of triggering stuff in there that could be thing. And I'm not trying to be that, thing you're triggering. It's pretty bad. And if it is something that does bother people hearing, we're not going to be the platform that really gets into the details of it. We'll just say there's a lot of forced sexual assault. There's human excrement involved.
Yeah.
Other talents involved where supposedly Lesnar was involved with some stuff. But
Lesnar is never named in the actual court filing. But if you read between the lines enough of when Lesnar came back, they mentioned a negotiation with a WWE talent around SummerSlam of 2021, and this WWE talent was also in the UFC. And obviously, it's not CM Punk because at this point, Punk is in AEW.
Ken Shamrock's off the hook.
Right, yeah. So
maybe
Dan Severn.
What if it's Ronda?
I think Ronda was already under contract at this point. Enough people have read between the lines that it's pretty clear it's Brock, but he's not named in the lawsuit. The only people that are named are the people who are named as defendants, which are Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis, who is equally implicated in this.
Very much so. What we're saying is the stuff that we're not going to get the details about involve both Vince and John.
Yeah, and
it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Vince utilizing the phrase, this is about as far as I'm going to get, no means yes.
Yes.
Was the phrase he is alleged to have said during one of these incidents.
Yeah, pretty bad. Pretty bad. It's all out there. You can check it out. We're not going to get into those details because, like I said, it is pretty extreme. My question I said to you before the podcast is, how many more talent do you think are involved in this if stuff comes out?
Well, there's part of the allegations, not so much talent, although there is something about even after, because one of the things that's alleged is that in 2022, and this isn't anything like bad. In 2022, early 2022, Vince apparently went to the plaintiff here, Janelle Grant, and said, my wife found out about our thing. You have to leave WWE, essentially. Fired her, and then pressured her to sign an NDA. According to the allegations, according to the suit, threatened that his legal team, and this was something he allegedly kept saying over and over again, I have high-powered lawyers on speed dial, and if you even try to come at me, I'm going to shut you down, is something that was allegedly, I'm paraphrasing, but allegedly was threatened a lot. And so over about 8 days of pressuring to sign this NDA, eventually there was an agreement that Janelle Grant would sign this NDA for $3 million. It was a big part of that hush money that was talked about in 2021. Wait, because it happened in 2022. In 2022, rather, I'm sorry. So one of the allegations is that only $1 million of that was paid, and then the rest was never given to her. And then part of it was that even after that, around like May of 2023, Vince tried to, because one of the things that's alleged is sex trafficking, that Vince was trying to essentially pimp her out to other people within the company, talent, and that he had pictures and videos of her that he was showing referees and people in production and things like that. And that this even continued after she signed the NDA and after she no longer worked for WWE. He was trying to get her to meet up with a wrestler who was appearing on a TV taping in New York. So yeah, there could be a lot of other people who are not named in the suit that are kind of equally, or not equally complicit, but could be also complicit. But that would all be speculation on who it could be.
Yeah. We just got a donation.
Oh, excellent.
Donation sent in. You know what's weird? It says I received a certain amount, and then it says something else was taken in. I don't know. It's weird. But a huge thank you to and real quick too. If you don't want me to say, I'll give you some time here if you're here. If you don't, if one that said, you can put that in the notes. If you do a thing, if you do, I am gonna put it in the ticker because I do appreciate it. I won't put your full name. I'll just put first names. But thank you for the $10 donation, Anastasia, via PayPal. So there is a little link there on the bottom. I am gonna move it up, even though I feel like weird about it because anytime money comes in, it gets me freaked out. But I will move it up in the PayPal links. If anyone's interested in doing any tips or donations, that's 2 now in the week, so that's pretty exciting.
Cool.
Yeah. So $30 in 2023 or 2024. Look at us. We're getting close. We're getting close that we can
look at us.
We could pay hush money. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna make people sign NDAs.
Yeah. Appreciate that so much. It was a secret beaver. All right. Well, going forward, if you don't want your name being said, just
you just say I want to just say NDA me.
Yeah, NDA me.
We won't disclose your donation.
Do you think anyone leaves following these allegations? No.
I think a lot of the people who would have left are already gone. Like Laurinaitis is long gone.
He's saying, do you think talent will be like, I don't want to be in a place where this is going on and leave? No. People like their paychecks.
And they're going to be like, Vince is gone. And if anybody, maybe because this is now a WWE where Vince McMahon does not have the final say. He has a lot of stock. But he doesn't have the final power. That final power is with Ari Emanuel. Mm-hmm. Vince has somebody he has to answer to now within TKO Holdings. And he has to answer to a board of directors. Now, he helped choose a lot of these board of directors. Like 5, I believe it's an 11-person board, and 5 of them were chosen by WWE and 5 of them were chosen by Endeavor when they did the merger. But the one thing you're going to want to watch tomorrow, because it's not going to really matter over the weekend, the one thing you're going to want to watch is that that TKO Holdings stock price, because everybody answers to the almighty dollar. Vince McMahon too. Even though he's got enough money that he can just walk away from everything and be done with it. If you want to do that, he would have done it a long time ago. So obviously, he still wants to be in the mix. But you want to keep an eye on this TKO Group Holdings stock, which was down a little over 0.5% today, and it is down about 1/3% after hours. So it dropped 41 cents a share today during regular trading, and it dropped another 30 cents after hours. If there's a sizable drop on that stock on Friday, there might be a lot of internal pressure to push Vince out, but that remains to be seen.
Now, here's a question. Do you think, and someone tweeted this, and it was liked and retweeted by Chris Jericho, and a part of me,
Chris Jericho should have just kept his mouth shut. They weren't talking. Finally, nobody was talking about him, but he has to cut. I think he just liked it. I don't think he retweeted
but he does have a point. You know what I mean? Like, he was found to not be guilty as of now. But he did essentially the tweet said.
Well, Vince McMahon has technically not been found guilty of anything.
True, but essentially what the tweet said is, are people going to have the same energy going into Rumble's pay-per-view, the same that had against Chris Jericho chanting at him during his match?
Well, is Vince McMahon going to be in front of the crowd at the pay-per-view?
That's exactly how I was thinking too.
Yeah.
But you know,
it's not. It's an apples and oranges.
It's insane to think about that. Just like this stuff happens in the WWE universe, and people just like, but it's Vince. We all knew. Like, no one cares.
I don't think that's a reaction to this at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
people are like, oh boy, we're not surprised, and then we'll see how it plays out. I don't think anyone's like, no one's expecting anything to come of it.
Here's a question I wonder: do we ever see, besides like archival footage or that, do we ever see Vince McMahon on WWE television again?
No,
I don't think so. Do
you think his Hall of Fame thing is done if this keeps getting worse?
I think it was done anyway. I think he's very adamant that he doesn't want to be put in the Hall of Fame. Now, does this mean he doesn't get put in after he dies? Maybe.
Yeah.
It kind of depends on who's running it. But one of the allegations in this lawsuit too is that the board of directors, and this is pre-Endeavor taking over the company, the board of directors that did the investigation in late 2022 that found they kind of cleared Vince of any significant wrongdoing, that it was a sham investigation, is literally what it says in the complaint. And
you don't say.
Yeah, I know, shocking, right? And part of that part of the board of directors was Stephanie McMahon, was Nick Khan, was Triple H, who was no longer on the board. Stephanie's not even in the company anymore. Although when there was that vote to oust Vince from the board, Stephanie, Nick Khan, and Triple H all voted to oust Vince from the board because they knew it was to steal a phrase from Triple H, best for business. Because Vince's name being associated with the company just doesn't do them any good as a business.
Yeah. Well, listen, speaking of the board, do you smell that?
Oh, yeah. There you go. That was how this big news thing first started. This is how that big news thing kind of got rolling, is that it was announced, I believe, Tuesday? That The Rock has joined the board of directors of TKO Holdings, and that, I guess, part of the deal was he now has full rights to the Rock name.
Yeah, he owns the Rock name, and he's now. When you're on the board, like, does he technically have does he have stroke over Trip?
If you're on the board, it depends on how active you are on the board. You typically aren't that involved in the day-to-day operations of a company. A board of directors is more of like an advisory thing. They'll meet to vote on certain. Again, I'm not a business person.
Do you think The Rock paid in to get it?
No. I think it was a PR. Something could be a PR move. Like, if you look at the board of directors, most of those people are not wrestling people. A lot of them are Endeavor people. A lot of them are Hollywood people. One of them used to run the Atlanta Hawks basketball team, and now I think he does something with some kind of nonprofit in Atlanta. So it's more people who have business interests that are. Again, I'm going to show my lack of business acumen here, that I've never really dealt with a board of directors. I've never had that high of a ranking position in a company. But it's not something where The Rock is going to have a lot of.
Imagine if PBW had a board of directors and how those meetings would go.
I still wouldn't be on it. But yeah, it's something where Triple H is in a different stratosphere. Triple H is now in the day-to-day operations, on the creative side of things, and the executive leadership is kind of overseeing that and just keeping the overall ship running. You got to remember, the TKO executive leadership isn't just overseeing WWE; they're also overseeing UFC.
Yeah. So the reports are saying Rock gets $30 million in stock and is giving him his name for his trademark.
Okay, yeah. I mean, having The Rock associated with it, yeah.
It got his daughter a GM role in NXT.
Well, that was in the works anyway.
It's because they knew it was coming.
Yeah, well.
It is very interesting storyline wise that he becomes the board of directors, and then like on a Tuesday she's named the new GM of NXT, and then the next day he's the board of directors of WWE. It's like, let's
not act like Ava is the first nepo baby in wrestling. It worked out, but The Rock got him because of his dad. Well, The Rock got him because of his dad.
Well, his exact tweet was, my grandfather helped build the table, now I'm the head of it.
Yeah. I don't know how much Peter Maivia may have built like this much of a leg of the table. It's not like his grandfather was Bruno. I mean, come on. I don't want to demean Peter Maivia, but let's kind of let's. It's not like we're talking about Antonino Rocca here.
How dare you? No.
So no, but like. It's a tale as old as time in wrestling, and it doesn't always work. Like David Sammartino, like I just talked about Bruno, his actual kid was awful. If you're a great wrestler, never name your kid David, for one thing. David Sammartino, David Flair, doesn't work. Doesn't work.
So The Rock, $30 million, we'll say, and it gets his name back. And he's getting the main event of WrestleMania this year. It's been a good year for The Rock.
Allegedly. Nothing's in stone yet. Nothing's in stone yet. Yeah, it could. And see, it would be, because I don't know if I'm even going to Mania, but I know that I've been to 2 WrestleManias in my life. And in both of those WrestleManias, The Rock lost the title in the main event. Or lost the main event match for the title. But he was the champion going into the matches, too.
Well, before we get into any more Rock Mania possible debate, let's stick on the business side of news so far. Wrestling fans can rejoice because now we can Netflix and Raw. You can go Raw during Netflix.
There you go.
Going Raw while watching Netflix.
They have to do some kind of Netflix and chill joke and bring back Glacier from WCW. Ooh. At least for the first. So we had a question
in the chat. The Rock will not wrestle at Mania this year. I wouldn't say that.
Let's hold off on that. 17 and 29 was also a question in the chat. No, 15 and 29. 15 in Philadelphia and then 29 at MetLife. I was at. So the big deal, probably the biggest rights deal in the history of WWE, I'm going to say, and I bigger than the Peacock deal, bigger than anything, is this Netflix deal with WWE. For one thing, the length of the deal, 10 years. $5 billion.
Jesus. For just Raw?
Now, I know this is for just Raw domestically. There's some other stuff involved. But the crazy thing is, if you look back, and a lot of this is inflation because this was decades ago for both of these, but Disney outright bought Marvel for $4 billion. They outright bought Star Wars for $4 billion. WWE, for just 10 years, they're not buying WWE. $5 billion.
That's crazy.
So Netflix will get Raw starting in January of 2005. From what I understand, though, it's a 10-year deal. At 5 years, Netflix has an option.
Yeah.
They actually have 3 options. They can, if they're not liking the way it's going, they can opt out of the deal after 5 years. So I guess at that point, it would be a 5-year, $2.5 billion deal, unless there's like a ballooning payment. They can keep the deal as is, or they can extend it for 10 more years. So this has the potential to be a 15-year deal if they decide they want to do it. It has a potential to be a 15-year deal.
It's a crazy now.
And just to explain a little more, because we're up for just Raw. In the United States, this is just covering Raw.
Yeah.
But if you look at a lot of their other big markets besides like Australia, which is a big market for them. But if you look at, and I guess parts of Europe, but for Canada, which is I believe their number 2 market, the UK, which is the second biggest, or there's probably their 3rd biggest market, unless they have those flipped. And then certain markets in Latin America, this is an all-inclusive deal for Raw, and then also all the old WWE Network content. So, like a lot of other countries still have the WWE Network. The WWE Network is shutting down at the end of 2024, and everything is moving to Netflix.
But not for Americans.
No, it's still going to be on Peacock because they still have that deal with Peacock.
Yeah.
Now, once that Peacock deal comes up, what this is indicating is WWE is completely out now of the over-the-air or the running a streaming service. They're now just going to be content creating for other streaming services.
Yeah. Now the question is, Netflix doesn't have anything on its platform that is live television,
and that's what this deal is all about. They've dabbled, and it hasn't really worked well. They've dabbled with a Chris Rock special that was live, and I think they had a lot of tech issues. And there was something else. I think there was some like reality show reunion special. Like
I personally think before this deal comes in, I think you're going to see a full-fledged live TV program roll out.
Oh yeah, no, they're working on stuff.
I don't think it's going to be here's Raw and it's the only live thing on our service.
No, this
pro wrestling is the reason. Like, I think the pro wrestling is just another way to get more people excited, but I think there's more live TV coming to Netflix.
That is the next big and this is Netflix's first move in that. That is the next big arms race in streaming is going to be live media, where that kind of started with Amazon. Amazon has, for the last 2 seasons, had Thursday Night Football. And then Peacock has had WWE. Peacock has had WrestleMania. Peacock has had SummerSlam. Peacock has had all the premium live events, as they say.
Yeah.
Peacock, but what happened now? Peacock just upped the ante this year because Peacock had that NFL playoff game. The Chiefs-Dolphins game was exclusive to Peacock, like it was not on TV at all. And they're saying that's probably just the beginning of that.
Yeah.
So,
the real winner here is Tony Khan.
The real winner here is WWE got $5 billion.
He got. I know we're not talking about the money because that ruins the argument. All right, what happened is TK and AEW have kicked Raw off cable television.
Sure. Although you know it's coming back to cable television, SmackDown. SmackDown is coming to cable. Like USA is not out in the cold. Like they're not gonna have Raw, but they're gonna have SmackDown.
Yeah. Now, does Raw stay 3 hours on Netflix?
That is a good question. That who knows? I think
no. I think now is the perfect time to say we're gonna go 2 hours. I think majority of the fans and the people sitting in attendance are getting sick of 3 hours of Raw.
I have a feeling the only people who say matters on that is Netflix.
Yeah.
Did they buy a 3-hour show or did they buy a 2-hour show? I think that's going to be up to them.
Yeah.
That's
if they're smart and they listen to us, the fans, 2 fucking hours.
Like, I don't see why WWE would say no to that. They're gonna get, if they're getting the same money for less content, I would say yes to that. And it's a paid service, so you're not relying on actually, not entirely true. Netflix's subscriber growth has been driven by people who are joining that ad-supported tier, and there will still be ads in ad breaks in Raw. But if you have that free Netflix, or you have the ad-free version of Netflix, which you pay a little extra for, that's probably we're going to have like little lulls in the matches. We're going to kind of throw on a rest hold, like a 2-minute chin lock while everybody's getting ads and things like that. Kind of what they do now. Like if you have, there's an upper tier of Peacock where they'll get like a backstage promo or something where everybody else gets ads during a pay-per-view.
Yeah. All right. Well, Netflix. Are you a subscriber to Netflix?
Yes.
As I say, does this change you if you weren't to jump over?
Probably, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like with Peacock, I'm gonna subscribe to the WWE Network. I paid $10 a month just for WWE.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course I would. It's been a luxury for me because, and this is going away in like I think this year or next year. Comcast was my ISP, so I have had Peacock for free since Peacock started. I have the Peacock Plus or whatever it is, the one where you get commercials. I've had that since Peacock's been a thing. So I mean, yeah. I still like Peacock. There's stuff on there. I like that show Poker Face.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into this weekend and everything we're excited for. If you're interested in playing along, head over to digital.pro-wrestling scorecards and sign up. It's for free. Make sure you join the faction ABJ and play along with us. Here's the deal, though. I'll do it for people in this chat or anyone who watches the replay back or listens to it when it goes live. If you win, because there's a lot of people who are in our faction who I don't think listen to the content. I think they joined via factions or wherever it may be. I will go through on the social medias and say who's this person's name and see if we get it claimed.
It's me.
But if someone can prove that it's their account or whatever it is, and they're one of the listeners, even if you're not in first, but maybe you're the first one who claims that like I'm third place, but the other 2 people didn't say anything, I will send you the Royal Rumble t-shirt for this year. I'll hook you up with an item if you win and you play along. But you have to be part of the faction and you have to play along to do it. So there is a total of 4 matches. There's going to be the United States Championship between Logan Paul and Kevin Owens.
They did. Yeah. And it got totally overwhelmed by all the other WWE news today. But I guess they did that angle where they had a fight at the Performance Center.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Owens and Logan Paul got into it at the Performance Center, and a camera just happened to be there.
Always. We have a fatal 4-way for Reigns, Orton, AJ, and LA Knight.
I have a feeling we'll maybe getting 1 or 2 more matches too.
We got the men's Royal Rumble. We have the women's Royal Rumble.
Yeah, maybe one more match.
Let's go early on predictions here. Who's your
Well,
who's your
let's start with
who's
the
your
easy one.
Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, go for it.
What was I say? Kevin Owens and Logan Paul.
Logan Paul.
You think Logan retains?
Yes.
Interesting.
I think Logan's carrying that belt through WrestleMania,
Okay.
and then he's gonna lose it to somebody else. Yeah,
Roman retains.
of course.
Yeah. The Rock comes down and helps him.
Oh, so yeah, I mean that'd be a little different. It'd be different than Solo helping him for the 80th time.
Yeah. What if the Rock's music hits? Everyone's shocked. The Rock and Roman clear house in the ring. They stack everybody up, and Roman lays his hand on him, and you win. Now I get you a Royal Rumble.
I think it's so funny because it's the most protected WWE champion in 30 years, almost, or 40 years, because it's been almost 40 since Hogan won the title. It is 40 since Hogan won the title. So it's the most protected WWE champion in 40 years. And for me, that's the popcorn match because I know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I know exactly what's going to happen in that match. It's going to, Roman's in trouble. Oh, here comes Solo. It's over.
We have someone in the chat says a new bloodline member helps Roman retain.
Oh,
I don't think anybody. I don't think they add anybody else to this mix only because it's starting to come to the wind. Well, not really the wind down because
one can only hope.
Yeah. Men's Rumble. Let's go this. Who you think the final four are?
Let's go CM Punk, Cody Rhodes. There's always one you don't expect. Who's the guy they're trying to gas up a little bit here?
Gunther.
No, he might win. CM Punk, Cody Rhodes. I will say Gunther will be in the mix at the end.
That's three Raw guys.
Yeah, let's think of a SmackDown guy that we can get a little lift for. Who's an up and comer on that SmackDown side? They can.
Is there anyone that's going to be in the title fight that you think will be in the Rumble then later?
I hate when they do that.
I do too.
Let's see. Cody Rhodes, Gunther, CM Punk, and
does The Rock enter the Rumble?
Well, he might because he might win it. That'll go over like a lead balloon. I'm trying to think of a good smack. Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller will be in the final four, I think. So my final four prediction is going to be Cody Rhodes, Gunther, Grayson Waller, and CM Punk.
Okay. Women's. Oh, actually, before we get to the women's, any surprises in the men's? Any predictions?
Of course. Specific people?
Yeah.
See. Who's available? That's the problem. Like AW now. Who's available and not really old anymore?
Do you think
D'Lo Brown? Is D'Lo Brown available?
Do you think we get a returning WWE AEW star back to WWE in the Rumble? Do you think Andrade shows up?
Yes, the Andrade's a good one. Andrade, yes. I'm just reading the chat. Okada, no. Still under contract in New Japan until the 31st. MJF, no. He's still in AEW and injured. Undertaker, no. He's old.
Hogan, he said one more, brother.
One more, dude.
One more, dude.
Listen, dude. I'm going to be in the Rumble, but I got to win, brother. I can't lose.
Here's what they got to say. They said, all right, Hogan, we know your kid's in trouble and we're sending you some money. So we're going to sell some merch so you can help your kid get out of trouble.
Did you see I pulled a lady out of the car, dude?
Yeah. But you have to go down in the Rumble.
Yeah. And then I'm not going down. I'm going up. I'm up.
We're going to put you out in the Rumble, but then we're going to flood the ring with Omos, Bobby Lashley, the Street Profits.
No.
And you're getting jumped by
I'm going to beat them all, right? Yeah. Leg drop.
No, you're getting stomped the fuck out.
No, dude. That doesn't work for me.
Rob Van Dam, do you think? I don't know if Van Dam.
A little up there. I did. It's a little mean-spirited, but I saw somebody say like they want Hogan to get the Ultimate Warrior push of he does a promo on Raw and dies the next day. Like, okay, wow.
Don't hate that. Don't hate it.
I think maybe some NXT people. I just saw Trick Williams in the chat. Trick Williams is a very maybe Mello. Yeah, maybe Mello and Trick Williams, and maybe
Braun.
Mello eliminates Trick Williams. It's time for Braun to come up. How about Baron Corbin? Fuck, Baron Corbin, just like a New Japan's heavyweight now. Baron Corbin.
Him and Braun might win the fucking Dusty Classic.
Baron Corbin. Look, I'm not going to say Baron Corbin's good now. Baron Corbin's been good for a little bit, and people are actually realizing it now.
Yeah, I've always liked Baron Corbin.
He's a real heel. Like, he's what you should be as a heel. He just is not likable at all, which is the intended purpose.
All right, let's jump over to women's.
Yeah, so return-wise, I think it's a pretty safe bet that Naomi is back.
Naomi is back.
That's a pretty
Do we
safe
get
bet.
Sasha or Mercedes Moné?
Or neither.
I think wherever she goes, she's showing up as Mercedes Moné.
Okay.
The only thing that I still am holding a little bit of shred of hope for, even though all reports are saying AEW, before Punk came back, WWE did this whole thing where they put a thing on their website and they said, "Oh, look at this is a playlist on YouTube of all CM Punk stuff." They just did the same thing for Sasha Banks a couple weeks ago.
Maybe, yeah, no. Hey,
it's the only thing that's the only thing that I'm like, because
Triple H is very, very, very good at mending those broken bridges. He's very good at that. He got Bruno back. That was impressive.
Do you think Mickie James?
Possibly. What about Brooke Hogan, man? Brooke could be in the Rumble.
Brooke in her, baby. Trying to think of any other names that can jump in the Rumble there. Jackie said she wants another run.
Sure, why not?
Throw Jackie in there.
Yeah, anybody. Lita, Trish. It's the Rumble. You don't have to be in shape to do like a 20-minute WrestleMania match. It's the Rumble. You can come in, hit a few people, and get thrown out. It's not Molly Holly could be in there. I mean, she's been in there.
So I'll do my final four for women. I think you'll get Bayley.
Agreed.
Nia, Becky, and let's throw a Damage Control in there. Another Damage Control.
Got that Asuka, the first Royal Rumble winner.
Yeah, Asuka. And I think Bayley wins it.
I agree. I think Bayley. I never gave my winner for the men's Rumble, and I'm a little torn, but I'm thinking. I'm thinking I don't really believe these reports, and I'm thinking it's going to be.
Oh, Alexa Bliss return. That's a good pick.
Yeah, she wants to. Yeah, I don't know how much time she wants to spend with her baby, and how much, or maybe Carmella, as people who are back from maternity leave. I'm gonna go with,
you know who I would pop for if they showed up at the Mania, because they just both had their kids. I think if the fucking Iconics show up.
Yes,
I need them back on TV.
I loved the one Rumble with Billie Kay. Was it last year or was it the year before? And like Jillian Hall was in it. I just love anything Billie Kay did. Billie Kay was hilarious.
Yeah, I love Billie. The closest thing we have to Billie Kay on TV, except this girl could fucking wrestle, Thea Hale. Thea Hale has the charisma of Billie Kay, but she can work.
Billie Kay was so little. Funny though. She's so funny.
Thea Hale, I think, is entertaining in a NXT universe, because she has to be kind of like quirky and like when she comes down, she tries to act sexy, but then she's still like.
Is it like a lot of the other women's division where it's like very bad adult movie level acting?
There is some adult porn level acting, but she's actually good. Like, she comes down and she's dressed all goth because she's with what's her name, but she still has that. She still has that like, I'm a energetic girl. Like, I don't know. She's real. I think Thea Hale's great.
But that's fine. When you're comparing somebody to Billie Kay, that's as far as the character wise, that's high praise.
It is high, but the
Iconics were incredible.
I totally agree. But I think Thea Hale has it. I think she's gonna be I think she's gonna be a big deal.
I know it caused a big hissy fit, but I popped so hard when the Iconics won the women's tag title at WrestleMania that year.
A Mandy return, interesting. I don't know about that. I think if Mandy returns, I think she'll be AEW, only because she's been palling around with Paige Van Zandt a while, and then AEW just released a women's roster photo thing, and Paige Van Zandt's on it. Like, I think they still have hopes for her, like training, and she's going to be a professional wrestler. And her and Mandy supposedly have been training together, and Mandy's been helping her get ready in the ring. So I think if Mandy Rose shows up anywhere, I think she's going to be all elite.
Yeah, AJ Lee is the one I'm kind of keeping my eye out for.
AJ Lee would be cool.
Yeah.
Long shot, Tessa?
No.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what else we got. Another Final Four I'll throw in there. I don't have my fourth one. I'll take it out. I'll take out Asuka. Mm-hmm. I think making it to the Final Four I think Tiffany Stratton makes
That
it
would
in
be
the
a good
final
one.
four.
She's ready to come up. Like her and Braun, I don't know how much more use they get out of being in NXT at this point. And maybe they're just waiting until post WrestleMania because that's when they like to do a lot of their call ups. But I feel like at this point you're just delaying the progress of some people. Not so much the progress, but delaying the ascension of some people by keeping them in NXT. Tiffany Stratton has been ready for a while. Braun has been ready for a while to take that leap up. Although the funny thing about NXT is this time next year it's going to be the only WWE show on network television, like on free over-the-air television. The only one will be NXT because AEW or SmackDown will be on cable and Raw will be on streaming.
Yeah. All right. Someone in the chat said Blair Davenport as a possible one, but
yeah, I know some people thought she was like in the background on Raw.
I don't think it was Blair Davenport. I think it was. I definitely think it's somebody, but I don't think it was Blair. She looked too short. Honestly, it gave me Alexa vibes, but it wasn't Alexa either. But that was too on the nose for that person to be standing there in the dark shadows like that. Like that wasn't a mistake.
You can always
that whole Raw, they kept like putting Damage Control walking in the background, and like they had a bunch of things where people were in the background doing things, and that girl just happened to be standing there. I think
that could also just be for the first time in decades. There's somebody else producing Raw now, and again, we need some more people in the background. We need our background.
Yeah, but it was like a dark shot. Like no one. It was a spot where nobody would be. But the way they panned the camera is they framed it so she's in the shot. Like I think it was something.
Somebody. It could be.
I think it's somebody.
But yeah, it'll be. It's an interesting Rumble, both of them, because for one, I don't have a clear vision of who's winning. When was the last time that happened? Like by last year, I mean, it was pretty obvious Cody and Rhea. The year before that, it leaked the day of, like it's going to be Ronda and Brock. The year before that was okay. Well, I don't think people were kind of locked in on Edge. I think Bianca was pretty locked in. And the year before that, people pretty much knew it was Drew unless they thought Brock was going to run the table. So I like that there's some intrigue. Like the new reports are Gunther might win it. Cody is certainly a big thing. The Rock could show up and win it.
Punk I'll say right now, if the final four is Gunther, The Rock, Punk, and Cody, it's like no fucking idea. I'm excited.
No. If The Rock is in, he's probably winning it. If The Rock, I don't see The Rock coming in and losing it. If he's going to wrestle, because if he's coming in, he's going to wrestle Roman.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's a Rumble I'm very pumped for. I'm excited for this Rumble, and we will be live. Probably not Brian. If you want, BP, if you want to join me,
I may be live at I'll be live at a establishment in Center Street in Pottsville.
I don't blame you, but we will be live on YouTube for the watch along for Rumble, not Raw, the Rumble. So if you're bored and you want to hang out and just hear me babble in the background and talk wrestling with me during a live stream, come hang out with me for the Rumble live stream. But let's call it here. We about right at an hour mark. Anything you want to plug? Get out of the way before we get out of here.
I kind of knocked all that stuff out in the beginning. I'm good.
All right, perfect. Make sure you guys check out the content that's out there. You guys have been helping me so fucking much. I appreciate you all so much. Merchandise, links, social media, all below. We're really closing in on that monetization on YouTube. It's something, I'm going to be honest, I have been striving for 6 years, like to be monetized on YouTube. I've been trying to fight for 1K subscribers.
Real quick, because C. Henry in the chat just brought it up and it jogged my memory. One person I don't think will be a surprise entrant is Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar.
I think if there are plans for that, they're on the chopping block right now.
Yeah, they're dead now. I will say this right now: we are at 2,500 on the dot watch hours. So we are officially 5,000 or 500 hours away. We are officially at the 500 countdown to be monetized. It's awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting and hitting that likes and shares. It means so fucking much. Also, if you want to help to support the network, the Ben Frank Connection, who's powering this whole thing, they're paying for the StreamYard. It's a network collaboration. There's exclusive ABJ and exclusive Tornado Tag merchandise that you can only get at the Opinion City Pod Teespring. So make sure you go to teespring.com/store/Opinion City Pod, and we have that little goose Ben Franklin Bridge logo, and it's got the ABJ on the pocket, and then the Ben Frank Connection logo on the back. So make sure you support that, help this thing go and keep growing. Thank you so much for the donations and tips that have been coming in. That is insanely helpful. The fact that they are even coming in is shocking to me. I don't really get those, but once we get monetized, I'll pop up on screen so you guys can see them as well. But that's going to do it for ABJ, BP Burke, and this Tornado Tag. ABJ Podcast presents Tornado Tag. We'll see you guys next week on Sunday. Bye-bye.
Be good.
Thanks for watching this presentation. Like, share, and subscribe for more.